Hello folks, this is Mighty Scon here with a brand new series and a brand new game, and this is on Arcanum. So we're going to do a walkthrough of Arcanum, the game, which is a character RPG, and it came out in 2002, I believe. I'm not sure about that. Yeah, 2002 or 2003. Very highly acclaimed game when it came out. It took from previous games in the genre, like Baldur's Gate and Fallout, and made in my opinion, a superior game out of both of those. So with this game, introduced a lot of really neat ideas in how things are done as far as character creation. And so what we'll do is, through this playstyle, I'll probably break it up into sections that are relevant. So we'll go by zone, and we'll also go by this first series, which is going to be character creation. So if you're not into character creation, or if you don't really care, or if you've already played this game before, and you just want to see the actual gameplay, you can just skip the first episode, because this first episode will probably take up just the character creation part and the intro cutscene that we start off with. So let's get into the game. And the first thing you do is pick a new character. You can actually pick a character. There are pre-designed characters, which will give you a combination of, the gender, the race, and also the background. So it gives you all those things predefined. If you want to get started, you can definitely go right into this and create your own character. I will build my own character. So let's get into that section now. Okay, so some things to know. This game runs on an 8-stat system, and from those 8 stats you derive other stats. Also, I'm going to skip ahead here, and we'll go back to the screen here in a second. I think I need to choose a name. I want to show you the other part of this game, which is the skill system. There are skill systems here, and there's also a tech bar, or I guess tech/magical bar. If you spec into magic, it will decrease the effectiveness of technology. If you spec in technology, it will decrease the effectiveness of magic. So you have to choose magic or tech, and that's the overlying theme of this game, is deciding either magic or technology. And you'll see that when we get into the actual gameplay, and I'll talk more about the storyline as we encounter it. But I just want to keep that in mind. There are different skills that you can choose that are not displayed on the first page. So back to the first page, we have our name. You can choose portraits, or not a lot, but there's a couple portraits. This is essentially as customizable as you can get is a picture. The character is just a plain character that you can't customize, which is, I guess, one difference between that and the previous games that came before it, like Baldur's Gate, where you can choose the colors of your character. Of course, now it's much different. So you can choose gender, and the difference between the genders are slight stat differences. It's not that big of a deal, really. You just get to choose more constitution versus strength. And that goes the same for the other races in the system. So there are several races, more than most games, really. Humans, elves, half-orcs, and so that's the female version. The male version, you get access to a few more. Dwarves, elves, half-elves, you get gnomes, halflings, half-orcs, and half-ogres. So if you want to pick one of those other, like dwarves and half-ogres, you must go with a male character. Or males have access to the same one as the females as well. Alright, so backgrounds. Backgrounds add a slight, or in some cases a dramatic, increase or decrease to stats. So there's always a trade-off. You're always going to trade something for something else. In this case, we get a resistance to poison for a -1 to beauty. So with that, there are quite a few choices here, to the point where it could become very, I guess, overwhelming trying to figure out what you want to do. So I guess my key purpose in this screen is just to pick, kind of decide, what am I going to be? Am I going to be a mage? Am I going to be a gun wielder, or a grenade thrower, tosser? You can essentially be anything you want to be in this game. You could be a fighter. You could be a typical tank, a typical healer, typical rogue. All those are available. I'm going to be, in this playthrough, a mage. It's definitely the easiest, and it's definitely not going to require me, since I've played it before, to spend a lot of time on my character when I actually get into the game. My main focus will be to get you to see some of the quests and how some of the quests work in this game. And it's like my other playthrough, essentially, where I'm going to be explaining, kind of different paths to take in the game. You can go into a evil path. You can go into a good path. There's not the traditional, I guess, alignments, but the way they do this is they actually have a reputation system where your reputation goes up and down based on the actions you take in the game. And you can get to the point where you're going to be attacked on sight by the town guards if you do enough evil acts in a specific town. So there is that way. You can actually end the game as an evil person and align with the evil entity at the end of the game, which is pretty neat. It's a pretty neat concept. So the world is yours, essentially, to do with what you want. I do want to preface that with, being a jack of all trades is not a good idea in this game. You will start to feel frustration at around the 20th level mark, and beyond that, it becomes near impossible to complete a game if you're not specifically going for a specific build. So my two favorite builds are a dwarf that is a gunsmith, or he uses guns, but he has rogue abilities. So like prowling. So essentially a sniper build. I do like the sniper build with a dwarf. I've done that a couple times now, and I definitely like this build. It is a very good build. I'm not going to do it on this game. I'm going to go with the mage. So elf with, let's see if I can find this one real quick. It's one of the last, only child, elf. You get a willpower bonus at the cost of charisma, and also you get the cost of persuasion and haggle, so you're not going to be talking your way out of anything. You're just going to be destroying things as a mage. So an elf mage, and I do want to prep and say that even if as a mage, there are like, what are we at? Like, there's several skills. So these are all the schools of mage you can be. You can mix and match. You can pick some from different schools like this. But there is a healing school. There's different elemental schools. And then you can actually study at a school and become a master of that school. It just does gives you bonuses to that particular school of magic. So being a mage, let me reset this. I don't want to have all these things. I just wanted to show you that you can pick different schools. But even as a mage, you can focus in on specific ones. I'm going to be a temporal mage. The best one really is the force mage, because disintegrate is so ridiculously powerful. It pretty much destroys anything, and even the equipment they're wearing. So you don't want to do this on a lot of people, because you will destroy the equipment they're wearing and not be able to use certain quest items. Essentially, you can lose out on quests. So I'll be a temporal mage, but back to the screen, just to go over some of the races. Half elves, they're kind of human elves. You don't get as harsh of a penalty in some areas, but you do you get a bonus to beauty and a bonus to dexterity at the cost of constitution and at the cost of what is the other one? Oh, your tech skills. So your tech skills, I mean, if you're going to be an elf of any sort, you're going to be want to focusing on magic. If you're a dwarf, you want to focus on tech. You don't want to be a dwarf mage. You can be, but you're going to have to overcome some negative effects to magic in a way that you're boosting up your technological aptitude from the start. So you can be a dwarf mage. Really hard to pull off, though. Especially in the early game, you're going to struggle a little bit. But definitely possible. Gnomes, another good mage class. They get higher willpower, but they're more on the side of the charisma style of things. So you can talk your way out of things. You can persuade people. You can gain access to more quests through the charisma bonus, and you can have a bigger party size. So charisma directly affects your party size. So that's the benefit of having a gnome. It's a party mage, essentially. Good for healing, too. If you want to be a healer, if you like healing classes, this is a good one for healing, because you're going to have a big party to heal, and you're going to be able to also do a lot of, I guess, bard-like stuff, where you're boosting up your party through that method. Halfling, this is really good as the traditional rogue. If you want to play just a single-player rogue-like game, definitely go with the halfling. They already get a bonus to prowling and dodge, and they get a plus 5% critical chance, which is a really nice bonus. And you get 2 dexterity. So your speed's already up to 10 when you start off with. That with the background, there is a specific background, and I don't exactly remember what it is, so I'm probably not going to go through all these. But do know that there are backgrounds that are specific to your gender and your race. But there's one that gives you a bonus to, a negative bonus to your charisma, but a positive bonus to dexterity. There is that background that you can pick. The next one, half-orc. This is kind of a, you do lose charisma and beauty, but you do gain strength. It's not as harsh as the next one, but you do get a nice bonus to strength and constitution. So if you're going to start off as a fighter, this is a good one to start off as. It's just a straight-up fighter. You do get a bonus to melee and dodge, which in the beginning is a pretty big deal, because if you don't have a melee skill or a dodge skill, you can critically fail and cause you to deal damage to yourself. So definitely a really nice one. You do lose out on, or you do gain a poison resistance, which in this game is not as big of a deal. You don't encounter that many mobs that require poison resistance, so just keep that in mind. And then you lose 2 points to beauty and charisma. And the last one is the half ogre. You get a huge bonus to strength at the expense of intelligence. So you're going to want to boost up your intelligence. You know, I think Bookworm might get you to the point where you can actually do certain things. But you also have these other ones, like a wild half ogre, where it boosts up your willpower, and you lose a little bit of charisma. So you definitely want to focus on fighting with this guy, because you're taking a lot of strength. And you can be by yourself because you're going to have a lot of carry weight. So you'll be able to carry a lot of stuff in there. And they don't get the harsh penalties to charisma as you would with the essentially the half orc. So half ogre, another fighter class. You do lose intelligence, so you definitely want to be careful with that. I will be a elf, and I'm definitely going to take the only child. This will be my my class that I'm going to, or my starting one, which I'm going to lose charisma. But it's okay, I don't need a big party with this guy. Because at a certain point, probably at level, I think 10, he'll be able to solo just about everything that he needs to solo. So it's definitely a good one to for soloing. I do lose out on some persuasion and haggle skills, but I'm not going to use those anyways, so this is a very good mage build here. Alright, so this is my class. You can pick your portrait. He's a very serious guy, so I'm going to pick him. And now here's the screen. So we have 5 points to spend on the screen. And you can also, you can do things like, here's your rogue skills, this is your main fighting skills. This is more of your persuasion skills. Gambling, not as important. And you can see at the very bottom, it explains exactly what each skill requires. And a lot of these require intelligence. Some of these require willpower. Your magic skills all require willpower. And of course you have your technological skills. Repair, firearms. This is one you want to do if you're going to be the sniper build. You want to max this out pretty early on. Pick locks. So any of these will actually increase your bar towards technology. So just keep that in mind. If you want to go technological route, you want to pump these skills up, and it will get you into that place. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to 15 willpower is a really good start. I'm going to actually get me a harm spell. It's one of the most efficient ones. I'm going to go into temporal. I want to get the hasten fast as possible. It requires level 5. So I'll burn a point in hasten. And then I'm also going to work on the other one doesn't really matter. I do like to have teleportation as well, which requires level 15. So every 5 levels you do get 2 points to spend. So I'm going to work on this one by level 15, because at this point you can actually teleport anywhere in the world safely. And all my stats are fine. I don't plan on having a big party. Strength can use a little work, because I'm only going to have 3,500 weight to work with. Constitution, not a big deal right now. I don't plan on taking very many hits early on anyways. On this screen you can actually mouse over and see what each one does. At the very bottom it tells you what each stat does. So if you have to go back and readjust, you can. And you want to know that speed is very important. So dexterity is going to be important skill outside of willpower and intelligence. Willpower does boost up your fatigue. Fatigue is an important stat in fighting, and also an important stat, even more important stat as a mage, which I will show you here in a little bit. So you can actually straight up just bump up your fatigue, which gives you a really nice boost, as opposed to just bumping up your willpower, which gives you a minor boost to that. So this is a good jump stat for a mage. But there are items in the game that give you additional fatigue as well, and there are potions as well that you can use up. So let's do unlock cantrip is really good. You can unlock chests early on, and of course you don't have to actually take anything else. I have harm, and I'm gonna do mage lock for now, even though I'm not gonna use it at all. Probably use congeal time. So I'll have these two knocked out, ready for hasten at level 5. And I'll just save my other 2 points for when I get to next level. Not a big deal. You can spend them at any time. But notice my magic bar is up to 30 now. So I'm going to already be doing a pretty good amount of damage with harm. The higher your magic bar goes, the more effective your spells are. And harm is a damaging spell, so my effective damage is going to be even higher. You can go into nature mage, pretty nice. But we'll get into those as we get along the game. So there's a druid type mage as well. And that's it. I'll just stick with these, and let's move on to the game. The last screen you get to is you buy stuff. I only buy potions, and really only buy fatigue potions. That's about it. I don't even... I'll just keep this on for now. It gives me some things will give you bonus to charisma, right off the bat. So you do want to keep that in mind. And plus 20 to reaction. But for now, I'm just going to stick with this, and that'll be it. Now, after the cutscene, you can skip to the next episode now if you want. I'm just going to go through the cutscene and then stop the game and start the next episode at the actual action part of the game.
Help me, please. Oh, thank you, my friend. I haven't got much time. You must find the boy. Find the boy and give him back his ring. Now, he will know what needs to be done. Now, listen to me. We had to do it. He did unspeakable things to us. We had no choice but to do as he said. There were so few of us left, but the work is almost finished. And then the evil, you can't imagine. He's coming back to destroy everything and everyone. Now, please, just find the boy. Tell him that I escaped. I came back to warn. He will know what to do. You, my friend, it's all up to you.